sustainability used to have like a halo of progressiveness around it, and that used to be sort of like the leading edge of differentiation, whereas now it is table stakes, and if you are not doing something sustainable, actually you're conspicuous by its absence. There's a shift from some niche sort of disruptors and challenger brands that have been born out of sustainability to actually sustainability becoming much more mainstream with large business, big corporates. You know, we now have an audience of sustainability managers in our audience for the Better Futures event, and you can also see it in the reporting that comes through, annual reporting, where they're actually very proud to articulate what their sustainability performance has been. Around about the time of the GFC, we were noticing amongst a variety of different research forums and consumer groups and surveys that there was another aspect to consumer behaviour that wasn't necessarily being accounted for, and that conscious consumerism was it was like a thread that we had observed across a number of different categories, and I guess it was seen particularly from a younger audience. We felt that it was important to explore this, and we felt that this was maybe the emergence of a trend. So we thought, well, great, let's try and do a syndicated study and get the business on board. Of course, everybody's finances were somewhat strapped at the time. Yeah. We decided that we would invest ourselves in doing this piece of work to help produce some evidence that, against this hypothesis that maybe this was an emerging trend. It took a long time for that trend to emerge, but it feels now as though we have, the sleeping giant has been woken. Not a lot happened for the first 6 or 7. We saw gradual increases, very minor increases in behaviour. It's the last 2 years that we've seen some dramatic increase in people's attitudes towards wanting to be sustainable and commitment to wanting to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. They're not consistent. They're not always going to be doing everything sustainable in every aspect of their lives, but they're trying to do their bit. Mm-hmm. Consumers are going to be looking for businesses that are providing solutions for them. This is not something that you can ignore. Consumers want businesses to be part of the solution, not the problem. They are prepared to change their behaviours if it's made easy for them. They will be looking to brands that they can trust, and that you can't just rely on superficial, greenwashing. They've got the information, they can go searching for it to actually test whether what you're saying is true. So it's important that you are doing the right thing authentically. And the other learning is that you don't have to be perfect. Like, we don't have to have the entire solution there, because people are interested in going on that journey with you. We'll deep dive into areas that we think people want answers to. I think climate action is certainly on the agenda this year. I think we will look particularly at behaviour change elements. How can we help people with that behaviour? And that's what we tried to do with our last report. I know last year we did put a focus on plastic. We saw this as an emerging territory of interest, and it was no surprise to us really that it came up top as one of the most important or most concerning elements. If you understand where the tensions are and where the barriers are, that actually there are ways and means to overcome those barriers. I've certainly noticed that there are more and more businesses and local cafes and food service outlets that have jumped on board with that information. I'd be delighted to think that people are using this report as a source of encouragement and evidence to actually take action. It's great to see or to have a forum whereby there's a sort of a common mindset. We both have a desire to raise awareness and provide evidence-based information for businesses to take action. And I think partnering with SBC has certainly helped us take this information and this evidence to big business. We're giving sustainability a voice and a strong voice as well. It's given us the real imperative again to review our own practices within the business. We've always tried to be sustainable. We've recently gone through the CMAR certification. It's just kept us on point. And it's encouraged us to try and be even bolder with what we want to do with our initiatives. That has been a great joint project, and I hope again that is material that will be useful to business going forward and helping understand how they can represent sustainability and what are the feelings and the emotions behind the good that it can produce. Businesses really becoming part of the solution and not contributing to the problem. It's about understanding that there is this sort of heightened sense of urgency and that now is the time to act. If people aren't acting, then now is the time to reconsider that, because we see it even more so in everyday conversations with consumers, that they want to know how to do the right thing, and they really are quite concerned. I think they've awoken to the idea that they need to do things differently and we need to help them.